everyone. Welcome to this episode of Sleep and Relax ASMR. This episode we are learning about some events and holidays on April 24th. I chose this day randomly, so let's see what it has in store for us. Now, if you aren't familiar with this series, I basically just pick a day and I read some events, the noteworthy events that occurred on that day throughout history. And it's mostly to learn and bore you at the same time, so hopefully it achieves one or the other. April 24th is the 114th day of the year, 115th in leap years, in the Gregorian calendar. There are 251 days remaining until the end of the year. 1479 BC, Thutmose III ascends to the throne of Egypt, although power effectively shifts to Hatshepsut, according to the low chronology of the 18th dynasty. 1184 BC, traditional date of the fall of Troy. 1547, Battle of Mühlberg. Duke of Alba, commanding Spanish imperial forces of Charles I of Spain, defeats the troops of Schmalkaldic League. Schmalkaldic League. You can tell I've never read that before in my life. April 24th, 1558. Mary, Queen of Scots, marries the Dauphin of France, Francois, at Notre Dame de Paris. 1704, the first regular newspaper in British colonial America, the Boston Newsletter, is published. 1800, the United States Library of Congress is established when President John Adams signs legislation to appropriate $5,000 to purchase, quote, such books as may be necessary for the use of Congress, end quote. $5,000 now gets you like a 2010 Toyota Corolla or something. That's about it. (1877) Russo-Turkish War. Russian Empire declares war on Ottoman Empire. 1885. Remember, we're still on April 24th. American sharpshooter Annie Oakley is hired by Nate Salisbury to be part of Buffalo Bill's Wild West. 1895. Joshua Slocum, the first person to sail single-handedly around the world, set sail from Boston, Massachusetts, aboard the sloop Spray. In 1913, the Woolworth Building, a skyscraper in New York City, is opened. 1916, Easter Rising. Irish rebels led by Patrick Pearse and James Connolly launch an uprising in Dublin against British rule and proclaim an Irish republic. 1918, World War I. First tank-to-tank combat during the Second Battle of Villers-Bretonneux. 3 British Mark IVs meet 3 German A7Vs. 1922. The first segment of the Imperial, I always struggle with this word for some reason, you know that? There are always a few words that for no reason at all, when I read out loud, I can never pronounce correctly the first time. Heart is another one for me. I have to really think about it, because oftentimes I'll say hurt. You know, no one hurt my heart. Just for some reason, when I read heart on text, I'll do the same thing. I'll say, oh, my, they had to examine his hurt. I say it every time. And imperial. I always say imperior for no reason at all. So let's retry that. 1922. The first segment of the Imperial Wireless Chain, providing wireless telegraphy between Leafield in Oxfordshire, England, and Cairo, Egypt, comes into operation. (1923) In Vienna, the paper Das Ich und das Es, The Ego and the Id, by Sigmund Freud is published, which outlines Freud's theories of the, is it ID, I guess? Of the ID, the id, ego, and superego. 1926, the Treaty of Berlin is signed. Germany and the Soviet Union each pledge neutrality in the event of an attack on the other by a third party for the next 5 years. 1932, April 24th. Benny Rothman leads the mass trespass of Kinderscout, leading to substantial legal reforms in the UK. 1944, World War II. The SBS launches a raid against the garrison of Santorini in Greece. How can you be in Santorini and not just want to have a little mimosa and sit by the pool or sit by the beach? Come on now. 1953, Winston Churchill is knighted by Queen Elizabeth II. 1955, the Bandung Conference ends. 29 non-allied nations of Asia and Africa finish a meeting that condemns colonialism, racism, and the Cold War. 1957, Suez Crisis. The Suez Canal is reopened following the introduction of UNEF peacekeepers to the region. 1965, civil war breaks out in the Dominican Republic when Colonel Francisco Camaño overthrows the triumvirate that had been in power since the coup d'etat against Juan Bosch. 1970, the Gambia becomes a republic within the Commonwealth of Nations, with Dawda Jawara as its first president. April 24th, 1990. The Hubble Space Telescope is launched from the Space Shuttle Discovery. In 2004, the United States lifts economic sanctions imposed on Libya 18 years previously as a reward for its cooperation in eliminating weapons of mass destruction. 2005, Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger is inaugurated as the 265th Pope of the Catholic Church, taking the name Pope Benedict the 16th. And yeah, the rest, understandably, a lot of the events that, a source like Wikipedia wants to show you, it's going to be violence, it's going to be, I don't really like to bring up these kind of sad things. But let's get on with births. So famous people born on April 24th over the course of history. So let's take a look. 1492, Sabina of Bavaria, Bavarian Duchess and noblewoman. 1533, William I of Orange, founding father of the Netherlands. 1538, Guglielmo Gonzaga, Duke of Mantua. What a great name. Guglielmo Gonzaga. Have you ever heard of a better name? Guglielmo Gonzaga. That is a great name. April 24th, 1608, Gaston, Duke of Orleans, third son of King Henry IV of France. April 24th, 1706, Giovanni Battista Martini, Italian pianist and composer, was born that day. Edmund Cartwright, English clergyman and engineer, invented the power loom, was born in 1743, while Sebastian Lerdo de Tejada, Mexican politician and a one-time president of Mexico, was born in April 24th, 1823. 1856, Philippe Pétain, French general and politician, 119th Prime Minister of France, was born on that day. April 24th, 1879, Susanna Boccoini, Hungarian-American circus performer, who actually passed away in 1984, so she lived to be 105, is that right? Probably not. I always butcher these things. I'm definitely not very good at, like, if you put me on the spot to answer something, typically I need, if you give me some space and time, I think I'm pretty decent at sort of coming up with the answers that people need, either for logic or reasoning or math or, so being able to express myself and justify something, I really don't think I'm that bad at that, but I can't do it on the spot. My uncle's very good at this. Like, he'll ask you, he's an accountant by trade, so it kind of makes sense that he's so good at it. But, we'll be looking at numbers together, and then, he'll say, okay, 232, 436, 110, whatever. What's the math on that? And I'm like, I don't know. Let me pull up a calculator maybe, or let me try to put pen to paper and see what I come up with. But he'll just do it on the spot, and I'm so bad at that. Anyway, April 24th, 1880, Gideon Sundback, Swedish-American engineer and businessman, developed the zipper. That's amazing. Also born on that exact same day was Josef Müller, Croatian entomologist. April 24th, 1882, birthday of Hugh Dowding, 1st Baron Dowding, Scottish-English Air Marshal. 3 years later, in 85, Thomas Cronin, American triple jumper, was born. And on that exact same day, Con Walsh, Irish-Canadian hammer thrower and footballer, was born. Let me tell you, if there's a Wikipedia page about you, and it says hammer thrower and footballer, then you must have lived a pretty cool life. Could you imagine passing and what are you known for? Hammer throwing and footballing. So cool. April 24th, 1887, Dennis Finch Hatton, English hunter, is born. 1 year later, Pe Maung Ting, Burma-based scholar and educator, was born. Very next year, Stafford Cripps, English academic and politician, was born. And on that exact same day, Lyubov Popova, Russian painter and academic, was also born. April 24th, 1900, Elizabeth Googe, English author and educator, was born. 3 years later, Jose Antonio Primo de Rivera, Spanish lawyer and politician, was born. 1905, Al Bates, American long jumper. 1908, Inga Gunsel, Swedish runner. Shares the exact same birth date as Marceline Day, American actress, as well as Joseph Goslowski, Polish sculptor. And then we went 4 years without someone famous being born on April 24th. But in 1912, so 4 years later, Ruth Osborne, American discus thrower, was born. 1920, Gino Valenzano, Italian race car driver, was born. 2 years later, Marc Adelard Tremblay, Canadian anthropologist and academic, was born. Passed away in 2014, so he lived quite a long time as well. Please don't ask me to do the math out loud. (1923) Gus Bodner, Canadian ice hockey player and coach, was born on the exact same day as Doris Byrne, American author and illustrator. 1926, Marilyn Erskine, American actress, was born. She shares the exact same birthday as Thorbjorn Fjalldin, Swedish farmer and politician. 27th Prime Minister of Sweden. If I have any Swedish listeners, well, I know I have a few Swedish listeners. If one of you mysterious Swedes would be so kind as to let me know how my pronunciation there was, I'd appreciate it, because, you know, I love Sweden and never been there. Maybe I'll plan a fake trip there soon. And I just have no idea if I'm saying this right. Thorbjorn Fjalldin. Let me know. Hello at Sleep and Relax ASMR. That's the email. 1928, Tommy Docherty, Scottish footballer and manager. Shares the same birthday as Johnny Griffin, American saxophonist. 1929, Dr. Rakimar, Indian actor and singer. Now, I'm not familiar with Dr. Rakimar's career, but is that his name? Just DR? Or was that like what he changed it to? 1931, Abdelhamid Karmali, Algerian footballer manager, born. 1934, Shirley MacLaine, American actress, singer, and dancer, was born. 2 years later, April 24th, 1936, David Crombie, Canadian educator and politician, was born. He became the 56th mayor of Toronto. April 24th, 1941, John Williams, Australian English guitarist and composer, was born. Very next year, Richard M. Daley, American lawyer and politician, 54th mayor of Chicago, was born. And in 1942, Barbra Streisand, American singer, actress, activist, and producer, was born. See what else I have on here. April 24th, 1948, Eliana Gill, Ecuadorian American psychiatrist, therapist, and author, was born. 1951, Nigel Harrison, English bass player and songwriter. 1954, Jack Blades, American singer, songwriter, and bass player. Another fantastic name for a bass player. If you're a bass player and your name is Jack Blades, that is pretty dope. Pretty sick. April 24th, 1955. We have a few birth dates. We'll run through all of them. Margaret Moran, British politician and criminal, apparently. Guy Neve, Belgian race car driver. Michael O'Keefe, American actor. Bill Osborne, New Zealand rugby player. And James A. Winfield, Jr., American admiral. (1963) Mano Solo, French singer, writer, guitarist, and producer. Is it Mano Solo, the guy that sings that one song that they made fun of on SNL, that they called it Floppy Fish? And they made a little dance about a floppy, I don't know. If you've seen the skit on SNL about Floppy Fish, it's Keenan is pretending to, not pretending because I think he sings a song during the skit, but he's singing the song, and then, anyway, the culmination of the whole thing is a dance called the Floppy Fish. It's a very weird dance done by one of these guys that is really funny, but I forget his name. 1964, Cedric the Entertainer, American comedian, actor, and producer, was born. Of course, I remember Cedric the Entertainer mostly for Barbershop. I loved watching those movies. 1966, Pierre Brassard, Canadian comedian and actor. 1967, Omar Vizquel, that is well an American baseball player and coach. 1968, Aidan Gillen, Irish actor, was born. Of course, Aidan Gillen is best known for playing Littlefinger, Game of Thrones. He's done, quite a bit of other acting gigs, but I would assume that the vast majority of people would remember Aidan Gillen from his role as Littlefinger. Aidan Gillen shares the exact same birth date as Todd Jones, American baseball player, as well as Roxana Panufnik, English composer, as well as Hashim Thaçi, Kosovan soldier and politician, 5th Prime Minister of Kosovo. 1972, Chipper Jones, American baseball player, shares the same birth date as Jure Koser, Slovenian skier and singer. 1973, bunch of people born on April 24th that are famous. Gabby Logan, English gymnast and radio host. Damon Lindelof, American screenwriter and producer. Brian Marshall, American bass player and songwriter. Eric Snow, American basketball player and coach. Sachin Tendulkar, Indian cricketer. Tumas Tover, Estonian footballer. And Lee Westwood, English footballer. Truly riveting stuff. If you're not asleep by now, then I guess the only word I can say is sorry, because you should be asleep by now. Come on, go to bed. Really, you really want to hear about Lee Westwood? Come on, Tumas Tover. Come on, guys. I'm just kidding. Stay up. That's fine. Learn with me. I'm learning about this together. The company is nice. April 24th, 1975, Dejan Savic, Yugoslavian and Serbian water polo player. Let's move up to the 80s. April 24th, 1980, Fernando Arce, Mexican footballer, shares the same birthday as Karen Asrian, Armenian chess player, who died in 2008, so very young, very short life. It's very sad. 1981, Yuko Nakanashi, Japanese swimmer. April 24th, 1982, Kelly Clarkson, American singer, songwriter, producer, and actress, was born. 1987, Ben Howard, English singer, songwriter, and guitarist. Shares the same birthday as Chris Letang, Canadian ice hockey player, as well as Rain Taramay, Estonian cyclist, as well as Jan Vertonghen, Belgian footballer, as well as Varun Dhawan, Indian actor. Now we're going to move up to the 90s. April 24th, 1990, Jan Vesely, Czech basketball player. I remember Jan Vesely was he was drafted by the Wizards with a really high pick. He was a lottery pick, I'm pretty sure, like 4th or 5th. And this guy was supposed to be like this hyper athletic European player, really exciting. He was gonna come into the league, with his ability to shoot, his athleticism. He had this rare combination of both. Not just, he had multiple facets of his game that were so exciting. And the guy came into the league and just, his impact was exactly zero from what I can remember. A bunch of hype, and the guy came in and did nothing. April 24th, 1993, Ben Davies, Welsh footballer. And we'll read three more here. April 24th, 1997, Lydia Ko, New Zealand golfer. On that exact same day, Veronika Kudermetova, Russian tennis player, was born. And the last birthday included on the list is April 24th, 1998, Ryan Newman, American actress. And of course, how could we not finish this episode with holidays and observances? So, April 24th, we celebrate multiple observances and holidays, including, it says here, Christian feast day. It says Benedict Meni Dermot of Armagh. I'm not sure what this is. So we have Christian feast day, Children's Day in Zambia, Concord Day in Niger, Democracy Day in Nepal. April 24th is the earliest day on which Arbor Day can fall, while April 30th is the latest. April 24th is Fashion Revolution Day and its related observances. This apparently is in Bangladesh. April 24th, they celebrate Kapyong Day in Australia and Canada. Never heard of that. April 24th is also National Panchayati Raj Day in India. It is Republic Day in the Gambia. And it is World Day for Laboratory Animals. So there you go. So that was the day of April 24th. If you're still awake, then I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, if my Swedish listeners would like to comment, like I said earlier in the episode, about my pronunciation of the Swedish name I said earlier, please send me an email to hello@sleepandrelaxasmr. hello@sleepandrelaxasmr.com, obviously. If you just want to chat, you can also send me an email there. That's all for this episode. Thanks as always for listening, and take care.